wanted to talk about Crackdown 3 real quick. It seems like there's a lot of misconception about the multiplayer and 100% destructible maps. It would appear that a lot of people don't quite understand what the cloud is and how it works, and how there could be potential problems with the multiplayer of Crackdown 3. So let's start off by first understanding the cloud, right? You have, let's take Netflix for instance, that's running off cloud technology. So let's say I'm using the iPhone 6, which has like a 700 or 720p display, right? I might be streaming a movie that is capable of 1080p. The cloud is capable of streaming 1080p, but there's a few variables in there that prevent me from seeing said movie in 1080p, such as the bandwidth that I'm running on, right? And more importantly, the hardware. The hardware can only produce 1080p or 720p, so therefore I will not be able to see the 1080p stream on the iPhone 6, right? Another thing that's one way of looking at it. So in some cases the hardware does matter, but that's not necessarily true. I mean, for resolution and maybe audio files it is, but outside of that, from what I understand, the client being the hardware that you're using the cloud for does not matter. Therefore, by saying the Xbox One is now the most powerful console ever is not necessarily true. It just means that it's utilizing a really powerful technology, which is the cloud. Some people are saying, oh, well, okay, so when Microsoft uses the cloud, it's not that impressive, but yet Sony does it for their, Now service, and that's really cool, and that works just fine, but yet the Xbox or the Microsoft cloud can't work. No, that's two completely different things. Yes, they're both cloud, but they're being utilized in two completely different ways. PlayStation Now, all the computing work is being done offhand, right? It's not on your hardware, it's not on your console, it's not on your Vita, it's not on your TV. It's being done via the cloud. The entire game is being streamed to your device. Okay, so your device is not doing any of the computing whatsoever. It's all being done on the cloud. What Microsoft is trying to do with Crackdown 3 is basically having portions of the online run locally on your hardware, aka Xbox One, while also trying to sync up with the cloud that's running the other portions of the engine, such as the level destructibility. And there's going to be a lot of variables in there that can cause issues. I would imagine in order for this to work right, you're going to be required to have a certain bandwidth. So does that mean for the guys that don't have the required bandwidth, are they not going to be able to have destructibility, or are they not going to be able to play online at all? What is that going to do? An analogy for this would be, let's use Netflix again, right? So I'm streaming a movie, right? My hardware is running the audio. The Netflix on the cloud side is running the video, and they're supposed to sync up and make the actors' voices sync up. Okay, so if you have a dip in bandwidth because more people get on around you or whatever reason, or something like that happens, or maybe you're having packet loss or whatever, now you're going to get the dubbed over effect, right? So you're going to start seeing the people's mouths moving, but the words not syncing up to the lip movement. That's one issue that I can see happening a lot with Crackdown Online, or a lot of like the damage, like falling through the map, or your character's falling through the map, or just there's a whole slew of problems that can come up that I'm foreseeing right now, because I'm not aware of any cloud technology that works in unison with the hardware locally. Maybe there is. I'm just not familiar with that type of technology. That just seems really far-fetched to me. Now, I'm not saying that Microsoft can't pull this off, because I think they had this thing called the Azure or whatever, where it allows you to be able to stream from the cloud and with lower bandwidth. I mean, maybe they got some stuff up their sleeve that they're doing to pull this off. I do know that a lot of people are reporting on Titanfall having a lot of issues, and I do believe that that was one of the first games that was using the cloud to compute at the same time as the hardware, and I believe they were having a lot of issues with that, and that was nowhere near on the same level of scale that the Crackdown is showing. But I mean, if anybody can pull it off, it's probably Microsoft, right? So I'm not saying it's not going to happen or it won't work flawlessly. I'm just saying that there could be some issues in the future. The other thing is I'm looking forward to seeing how this works, because if it works the way that it's saying it is, that's going to be pretty substantial, and I would hope that other manufacturers out there will utilize the same technology, since they already have it at their disposal for the most part. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. Let me know what you think, if you agree with me or if you think I'm a complete idiot. Appreciate it.